my dad had terminal cancer. He had pancreatic stage 4, and he was always a super healthy guy. He was like marathon runner, like ate really healthy and everything like that. So it just came as a real shock to everyone.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't sure what exactly I was going to do or what I should do, if I should kind of take a break from school, take a break from work to be with him. But I felt like God wanted me, and my dad also wanted me to continue to, pursue my path and to not derail my life. And so I was like, all right, cool. We'll go out here and we'll do our best, and, just kind of live what he's taught me. And kind of that's a part of his legacy, I think, is just, being military. It's like you just kind of grin and bear it, and you get through, kind of a deal.
Man. Yeah. And that definitely, like you said, it was a tough time that, like, unfortunately, none of us probably had empathy for what you were going through. We didn't know, I mean, because we're young, and that's one thing I've learned is, like, when, at least for me, I didn't really think about other people, unfortunately, when I was younger. And I probably should have talked to you a little bit more about it. But did you kind of feel alone, like, at that time?
Surprisingly, no. I felt very much strengthened by God. I think there was a lot of miracles happening in the background, and in the scriptures we learn about angels to bear us up, and there was definitely a lot of angels on both sides of the bell. I had a lot of good friends and family that reached out and supported me as well.
Yeah. And like I said, that I love hearing that, and that makes me happy, man. And that's one thing I've learned as I've grown is, like, man, everybody's going through something, right? And there's always somebody to fast for. There's always someone to pray for, to look inside yourself always and be like, what? Like, oh man, life is so hard. Like, that's just not what the gospel of Jesus Christ is about, right? It's about, like, loving others and serving others. And, that's so, I'm sorry if I wasn't, more aware of that, man. I'm sorry about that.
You're good, man. No, you guys were actually, look back on those times as really, really awesome times. And, I think you and the whole team was like a family to me away from home. It was awesome.
For sure. Well, remember that dance competition we had? Is that Corpus Christi? That was the second year, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Or actually, yes, Corpus is the first year, yeah.
First year? Okay, Corpus was the first year? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was wild, man. That was fun. So I love to hear that. So let's talk about what happened after that. Like, because I don't know when your father passed away. I don't know what happened. What was the trajectory, like, of your life? If you want to get into it, of how faith played into that, because you said angels are bearing you up and helping you. So what did that look like?
Yeah. So got through that, and I mean, even with everything going on, I was blessed to have an incredible year, or an incredible, I guess, fall season for our sales. You guys that second year, so that was awesome. Yeah. And I was recently married at that time, so just kind of figuring life out. And after that, I went home, and my family actually had moved to Texas while I was away. I kind of snuck out of Utah. So I went and I was with them in between the time that we finished, which I think was like November.
I remember.
Started going back to school in January. So I had, a lot of time through the holidays to just be with my dad, be with my family, and connect. So he ended up passing in February that following year, which was really rough. And that's also the year that I graduated and ended up going and moving out to Ecuador, which I'll get into a little bit later. But it was just like change after change after change, and just lots happening.
Just constantly changing. Yeah. It's the only thing that's constant and consistent in life is change.
Exactly.
So, okay. So the very tough time, you ended up moving to Ecuador. Was that a faith building experience to be out there? Was that tough? Like, tell me about that.
Yeah. And to answer your question, like, as far as how faith played into it, I feel like there were a lot of really hard things that happened in a very short period of time. And shortly after I moved to Ecuador, which, there was kind of a culture shock and a little bit of a language barrier. I spoke Spanish fluently from the mission and everything, but it's just very different from living in the States.
Oh, for sure.
And then I had a time where my ex-wife was also just really struggling with her testimony, and I felt like things were kind of falling apart, and it was a struggle for me because I was trying to do the best that I could with, being a disciple of Christ and just powering through all of my challenges that I was facing. And I kind of had this expectation that God would just make my life a little easier, or, take away some of the challenges. And they didn't go away. But I don't think it's something that I haven't realized until just recently, that I have been relying a little too much on outcomes rather than my transformation and kind of the reason why we're all here.
Yeah.
But at that time, I still was just like, all right, well, I'm still going to be faithful. But in the back of my mind, I had this expectation of life's going to get better. Life's going to get, the challenges in my life will eventually go away if I just keep on the path, kind of a deal.
And you're saying, unfortunately, it didn't go away.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes God blesses us with miracles in unexpected ways, and that's awesome. But the thing that I've come to realize is there's no guarantees in God's plan in this life, in terms of outcomes.
Yeah.
But there is a guarantee in who we become. And that has been life-changing for me to realize.
It sucks, though, doesn't it? It's hard. You having to go through those things to become like I believe that we're here to build the Christ-like character, like develop his attributes, become one with Christ. But unfortunately, that requires suffering. It does. And I think a lot of people that join the gospel or follow Jesus Christ think it's their path to like a life of happiness, right? Like pure sublime happiness. There's no problems, but that's not true.
Yep. We're kind of in God's, I like to think of mortal life, this life here as college, a college experience. It's kind of relatable. And it's like, we don't have any guarantees in the syllabus. We're kind of at the mercy of the syllabus of this course that God has created for each of us. And, we're going to learn through it for sure. But we just got to keep following, through the lessons.
So what has helped you to continue to have hope? Like, I know I want to hear more. Like, I know we could say Jesus Christ, right? But like, you unfortunately dealt with your passing your father, and then your relationship didn't work out according to like what with our limited view of eternity, right? Like, it didn't work out right now, and I would say you're facing a lot of struggles, even right now, right? And just same with me, man. I got a lot. Everyone's got something, but you would think, like, listen to this podcast, you'd be like, oh man, these guys got it figured out. They love Jesus. They don't have any issues. But yeah. So what kept you hoping and having that faith that things to continue on the path, and that things you should keep doing this?
Yeah. I think a lot of it through the years has been leaning on the relationship that I had built as I studied the scriptures and really tried to create a relationship with Jesus Christ on my mission. And that was the first time that I always kind of tie back to where I felt close to him. And it's like any friendship. Like, if you don't spend time talking with friends, like, it just kind of deteriorates. And so we need to talk with Christ as our friend. And that relationship that I have built with him over the years has helped me to feel his love. And it's a kind of love and regard that you don't get anywhere else. And I think that's really the thing that keeps me hopeful, and the reason why I really, pursue my relationship with Christ and stay in the church and do all the things that I do to try to be the best disciple I can be, is because, like, the world's love is like, if you're producing value that people see as valuable, then that's kind of the extent of the world's view of love. But if not, then it's just kind of like, well, you're not of any value to me, and so they disconnect.
Yeah.
But with Jesus Christ, like, he always loves us no matter what's happening, even if we're intentionally doing things that we know hurt him. He's just always there. So that's that's really why I worship him.